Welcome to the EFL Report. We'll recap the results from Week 11. But first, we had another trade. Cookie Monster and the Buck and the Duck struck a deal where Cookie Monster acquired wide receiver Ladd McConkey in exchange for wide receivers Stephon Diggs, DK Metcalf, and quarterback Justin Herbert. This is the first trade Cookie Monster has made all season, who was looking to move Herbert due to the emergence of Drake May. For the Buck and the Duck, this is their fourth trade of the year, and they've completely revamped their team. Now, 11 weeks into the season, they have only 3 players left on the team from draft day. The remaining dozen have either been traded or released due to injury or performance. Buck and the Duck entered the week 3-7 last in their division, and desperate for points and wins, Cookie Monster was looking to solidify his team, unload any unnecessary depth, and build for the playoffs. As long as Cookie Monster kept putting up big games, his magic number to clinch the division is down to 1 from either a Taylor Park Boys loss or a Cookie Monster's win. Now on to the scores from the week. We'll start off with Millar Jackson versus the Gritty Kings. Millar Jackson got off to a fast start with Tedero and McMillan stacking 30 points after the 1 p.m. slate. That's almost the same amount of points he combined for in the past 4 weeks. Not a lot going on for the Gritty Kings, where 2 of his top players only gave him 11.9, that being Jamar Chase and Breece Hall. During the 4 p.m. window, Millar Jackson got some bad performance from his new toys, 1 being his namesake, and then 2 being Quinshon Judkins. On the other side, it wasn't any prettier. Mahomes only gave him 15.34, while the rest of his receiving room didn't give much support either. With only 3 players remaining, Gritty Kings was on the verge of a really bad week. After Sunday Night Football was over, Jameson Williams put the game way out of reach with 18.2, and Gritty Kings, he couldn't break 70. Gritty Kings falls to 3-8 and is losers of their last 3 games, but is still in the playoffs due to his point total. Millar Jackson gets back in the win column. After dropping his last 2, he improves to 4-7. On to 4 Diggs versus We Want the Beer Mile. 4 Diggs started off with the big brain 4,000 IQ play with Travion Henderson on Thursday Night Football over Derrick Henry. Travion went bananas, and he had his breakout game with almost 30 points, getting 4 Diggs off to a fast start. But yeah, this guy's cracked. 47.68 points. Now, even with Allen's game, 4 Diggs was still in it. James Cook and Nico Collins balled out to a tune of 38.6 points combined. The Beer Mile also only got 3 points from waiver wire pickup Parker Washington. It was 50-50 after the 1 p.m. slate. After 4 p.m., Trey McBride had another one of his big games, scoring 24.5 and destroying his tight end matchup, like he normally does. Unfortunately, Rashee Rice came right back down to earth after his hot start, getting under 7 points. It will come down to Monday Night Football. Only problem is, if Dak does well, you best believe George Pickens did too. Pickens ended up outscoring Dak, even with Prescott's 4-touchdown game. 4 Diggs drops to 4-7, but moves up to 3rd place in the division, while the Beer Mile improves to 8-3 and punches his ticket into the playoffs. Congratulations, Beer Mile. Now for the Buck and the Duck and Baker Mayfield. 2 of the worst teams in the league, respectfully, going head-to-head. You gotta love these matchups. Coming into the week, both teams needed points desperately. Spoiler alert, not a lot of points scored, especially for one team. I mean, another 0 from Quentin Johnston. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. Also, while we're here, Kyle Pitts started over George Kittle. Now, I did talk to the owner, and he said it was an honest mistake. He was trying to see what his roster would look like without Kittle, and he just forgot to reset it. Would it have mattered anyway? No. Quentin Johnston, again, he had 0. RJ Harvey, on his first game without J.K. Dobbins forever, had 6.5. Oh, and by the way, Baker has J.K. Dobbins too.
Bring out Jaden! Bring out Jaden!
Brutal injuries for Baker on a season that has severely crashed and burned. I mean, we'll just cut to the chase. Baker lost and dropped to 3-8, and the Buck and the Duck improved to 4-7, and are looking to pile on the points and wins for a playoff push. Let's look at hanging with Mr. Hernandez and the Boss Bros. Big games from Deebo Samuel and Bijan Robinson got Mr. Hernandez off to a hot start. On the other side, Boss Bros only had 4 guys playing, and solid performance from Chase Brown and Drake London kept him in him. Not to mention, from the other side, for Mr. Hernandez, Tyrone Tracy had just under 16. However, 10.7 points from Roma Dunze and Woody Marks, tough pill to swallow. The downfall came when Bo Nix only scored 14.6 in his game, where he had a decent amount of passing yards, but no touchdowns. And after Sunday Night Football, Boss Bros was another victim of that low-scoring Eagles-Lions game, where Saquon worked out only 9.5 points. Hanging with Mr. Hernandez piled it on with his new weapon, CeeDee Lamb, and his tight end, Brock Bowers. Hanging with Mr. Hernandez improves to 8-3 and clinches a playoff spot. Congratulations, Mr. Hernandez. Boss Bros falls to 5-6 and still holds on to that second position in the division. Looking at Justice Beaver and the Taylor Park boys, this game was nasty. Justice Beaver had 7 guys going during the 1 p.m. slate, so we had a good idea of what his score would be. Yeah, it was hot garbage. He had 2 Giants going due to Laporta being out and Olave being on bye. Now, I joined the Buck and the Duck and Justice Beaver in watching the Giants play in person. I don't know, we subjected ourselves to that type of torture, but here we are. The game itself wasn't bad, but Theo Johnson and Wan'Dale Robinson, they were bad. Bad for fantasy, at least. Albeit, it was a cold and windy, slightly rainy day, so passing was very difficult. And with famous Jameis at the helm, it was a crapshoot of outcomes. Justin Jefferson was MIA and has been great for fantasy as of late, and none of Beaver's players got in the end zone. That killed his score. On the other hand, Taylor Park Boys was without his wagon and Jonathan Taylor and Daniel Jones. And oh boy, did he feel it. A floor game from Rico Dowdle and only 10 points from Anungai didn't help TPB during that 1 p.m. slate. It only got worse after 4 when we saw that Puka is in fact human and only scored 10 points, and 3 players combined for 16.9. I think Jonathan Taylor put up that many points in just 2 runs a couple weeks ago. But none of that mattered because he did just enough to beat out Justice Beaver. After those 4 p.m. games, Beaver had no one, and he ended with 79.5 points. TPB, smartly, waited till after all the games were done, and right before Monday Night Football, took the Cowboys defense out of his lineup just in case they got negative points. So in ugly and disgusting fashion, Taylor Park Boys clinches a playoff spot. Congratulations. Justice Beaver drops to 4-7 and is now last in his respective division. Finally, look at Sweet 16 versus Cookie Monster. In a matchup where I was a massive underdog, I had hope. Maybe this would be the week K9 gets together and Shakir gets in the end zone. You know, as long as Jacobs and Amon-Ra do their thing, I got a shot. Yeah, Jacobs died randomly. I remember at the game just not seeing him for like 3 whole drives, wondering where he was. Then, of course, after halftime, it pops up on the Jumbotron, Josh Jacobs out, knee. Not to mention, before that, Jordan Love missed a few drives because of a shoulder injury. I love the Giants. I'm a Giants fan. I needed the points, man. Love salvaged the day with 2 touchdown passes, but it was already done when Jacobs went down. Oh, yeah. Khalil Shakir. He was running backwards. Josh Allen had 6 touchdowns. How was not one of them to Shakir? Forget about Cookie's side. Forget about it. I mean, once again, he got a big game from his defense. What is this? 2008? I don't see Troy Polamalu out there. James Harrison? Ryan Clark? James Ferrier? When did the Steelers become good at defense again? 2 touchdowns? I'm lucky T. Higgins caught a pass. What happened? And look! Kenneth Walker actually did something, and I wasted it. Whatever. I got smoked. I don't need to go into it anymore. Cookie Monster, you're the best in the league. I'm still stuck at 5 and 6. Luckily, still in second place because everyone else lost besides Mr. Hernandez. I'm calm. I'm calm. I'm calm. That'll wrap up today's EFL report. Thank you so much for watching. Talk to you all later.